Welcome to Nuru Vibe. You're listening to Vibe Session with me, Paul Fuchi.
And Adele.
So today we discuss teenage issues currently in Kenya. Adele, what was your experience as a teenager?
I can say I had a very interesting teenage life. For me, my main struggle was issues with self-esteem, which I struggled with mostly from like class 7 to around some time after high school. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was my main issue as a teenager.
There's so many other issues teenagers go through, and I think what we don't understand is everything is common to everyone who passes at a certain stage,
yeah,
regardless of where you come from. Mm-hmm. And we are looking at probably issues like self-esteem, peer pressure, substance abuse, depression, and even nowadays it's getting bigger because there's a lot of cyberbullying. Mm-hmm. So how did you handle your self-esteem, if you could start from there?
For me, my issues with self-esteem, I realized they were being caused more by the people I was hanging around. Mm-hmm. Like at that time, my close friends. Because it always used to be a situation where people give you compliments, but they are not genuine compliments, like, oh, nakapoa lakini. So after high school, I made a different set of friends.
Okay.
And I realized, like, as I was with them, mm-hmm. I felt better about myself. Like, it was always genuine. Everything was genuine, and I would come home feeling happy, because with my other friends, I'd come home and you feel drained and you just feel like unataka kulala, utaki kusumbuliwa. But when my friend group changed, mm-hmm. my self-esteem started going up.
I think with me, with self-esteem, I think boys' self-esteem is always around girls, and
yeah.
So I had issues with talking to girls, and I remember back growing up as a teenager, I never used to talk to girls because I didn't have that strong courage to say hi to anyone or have a conversation. Mm. And I remember my age mates then trying to make fun of me and mocking me all along. But in terms of my self-esteem, I wasn't outgoing. Mm. I was always indoors, and I avoided crowded places because I didn't feel good about myself then. And I was very short.
You had a growth spurt.
Yes. So that made me even fear hanging out with my friends. But it got better as I got older. I started joining football team. I wasn't good in football, so I wasn't making the A team. But because I was well disciplined, they could make me the captain so that they get more outings more often with me.
At least you had that on your side.
Yes, so I used to use that to my advantage. Then the next thing is about peer pressure, which I think I didn't have peer pressure because the several times I went to the river with the other guys, I didn't get to swim because I feared the sea.
Right now is even when I'm realizing we grew up in different
environments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Before my pressure was like, oh, now I've finished high school. Now, mom, I want to go out. And mm-hmm. my mom was thinking, you want to go out at night? Where are you going? What are you going to do? Yeah.
So the guys in the village, for most of us who grew up in the village, I grew up in Waranga, and we used to go to a river called Madira River. It's a very big river, and it's very scary because I can't swim. So I would pretend to be fishing, but eventually come out with nothing. And the thing is, at one time, I would, during the whole process, I would just dip myself in the water in the shallow end, mm-hmm. just to look shaggy and shiny like everyone else when you're going back home. At least for my mom to cane me for going to the river. So it felt good to be punished like all the other kids. So,
no.
Yeah, it was fun, but I never learned to do so many things which were scary. I didn't know how to whistle.
Even I don't know how to whistle.
Yeah, but that did not affect me. Because the transition then came when we were able now to, when it came to alcoholism and it came to drugs, when it came to sex and all that. I think I refrained from all that because I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted to become. And even if we hanged out with you, I would still know if this is wrong, I would differentiate a wrong thing to the right thing. And that did not make, of course, amongst my peers, it made me look nerdish or stupid or something. But eventually, as I grew older, it became to be a very, very important thing that I got to observe and maintain myself in the best decorum possible when I was a teenager. So I don't regret it a bit. But maybe in the city, you guys had a different experience.
Yeah, but for me, I can say, yes, I had peer pressure, but also I'm a very difficult person, generally.
You look
so
like.
I take pride in it.
Okay.
In it. So it will always be a situation like, yes, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it because my friends are doing it. Like, why am I doing this? Because you're doing it, But I'd have like form of fear of missing out. So it was not too heavy, but it was there a little bit, like in form of dressing and like things my parents allowed me to do. Because for me, my mom is a teacher. So yeah, there's some things she's thinking, you're not going to do that. Nope. So for me, the peer pressure was like with pushing the limits of like my curfew and my friends go home at 7, why are you telling me to be home at 6 type of peer pressure.
For me, I would respect the kids in the city. They are so, because I live in Eastlands, and the teenagers these days are the ones who are mugging people.
But yeah, I grew up in Eastland. I did.
And you meet up, if you meet up with a group of 10 young kids, I get scared because you never know what they pull out. And they're never scared of their consequences. And that's the biggest problem we have in the city with me.
For me, like at that age, it was mostly I can say the issue parents had with me and my friends at that age, ilikuwa bash. Where like it's XYZ's home alone or the parents at work, and then it would start very politely to start with like 1 or 2 people. And then people just start streaming in. Like that was the problem.
Had bashes, man.
Yeah. we once got kicked out of someone's house. It was a very
funny experience. So for us, we used to like, there is this macadamia. So there's a company inaitwa Farm Nut. So they make macadamia nuts. So nakumbuka hiyo time tulikuwa every time jioni walikuwa na mwaga shells. When they break the shells from macadamia. So they pour them on the roads for us. So we would go and start fishing. The way people do in Dadoras, dumping sites, fishing out and poking the trash. So we would literally poke the shells because they were leftovers of the macadamia fresh. So it was actually very fun. We would go home with a kilo of macadamia fresh, but you would be looking very messy because you've been on the ground all along walking home. So it was fun experience at that level, and I don't regret my childhood, but I got into a fight once in school and I was beaten very badly. I think I went off for a few minutes. I don't know, it was not a fight. The way we used to have every closing day, we would arrange the desks in a circular manner. Then that would be the wrestling field. We would physically beat each other.
That was in primary?
Yes. We would beat each other up.
You guys did have this thing for kukujana snacks and then you share them?
No, the rich kids had that. So that was my biggest experience when I was growing up. But I think with the issue of peer pressure, I think you're supposed to first of all understand yourself. Understand what your purpose in life is. And I know before 25, for most women, you never understand what really your purpose is, unless you're one of those special cases. Because at that moment, you want to just grow. So as a teenager, just focus on growing. Have fun, don't do it to the extreme. And it is always wiser to have yourself an identity. Because I know at the moment we're having an issue with identity crisis, because people do not know who to identify with or where to identify with. If you look at the songs we're listening to these days, made by the teenagers, it's all gangster, sex, drugs. And it's unfortunate these days when people talk about shash. Shash is weed. As in, there is no way you would normalize taking drugs. And that brings me to even the next topic of substance abuse. Because for me, I tasted alcohol way after college. Way after. And I think after college, I can count the number of times I've had alcohol is 8 times, 10 years down. Yeah.
Wow, you can count.
Yes. So, but that doesn't mean I wasn't a boring kid. I think I would go hang out with you. I love dancing at that moment. I was a very good dancer. And I used to have fun. I used to make my own fun. Because to me, getting drunk is not fun.
I think if you have to be intoxicated to become a fun person, that's not your group of friends.
Nah.
Everyone is interesting.
Yes.
But if you need an external stimulant, like alcohol, if you depend on it to become an interesting person,
exactly. Then you really need to think about who you truly are. You know?
I think you need to think about who you're with. It's more of an issue of who you're with. Because why are you in a situation where you feel like you're boring?
Yes.
Why do you feel like you're boring? No, I feel like no one is boring. It's just, who are you with?
Okay.
Who are you with? Because me, there's some people if I chill with, they'll think I'm boring because sense of humor is different.
Yes.
Different.
Before it gets there.
Different. Yeah. So I just realized that if you have a group of friends and you can't talk about general life issues, you can't come to your friend and say like, oh, this is bothering me. Those are not your friends.
I would even dare you to say it's okay to walk away from such people because it hurts no one. Because I always say when you cross this door, it's always an opportunity for you to open a new one. Yeah. Because the moment you ditch this bad crew, there's always a new crew waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah.
So the way you get into that new room, they will treat you on your first appearance and your first conversation you had with them. So if you go to the new room and you're more of smart talk, you're talking about the future, you're talking about the things you want to do, you're talking about Jesus, you're talking about growth, those guys will always treasure you, and you always, for them, the conversation they always want to have with you is regarding to what your beliefs are. But when you get into a new room and you want to talk about drugs, you want to talk about the new girls you're hooking up with, you want to talk about the boys you're hooking up with, then they will always look at you in that perspective, and they will never have a productive conversation with you. My experience with even substance abuse and how probably to get over them is purely, the thing is when you go to a club, when you go to a club, just sit there and watch how people behave. It's okay for you to ask for Del Monte juice. Because me, I was labeled a Del Monte juice guy. So it's okay for you to just ask for some juice. But when it comes to dancing and having fun, take it to the top. Have fun. But when it comes to drugs, there's usually an afterlife repercussions. Mimi, when you mess up with my brain, when I'm not growing my brain, when I am trying to interfere with my brain cells development, I walk away from anything that messes up with my cells. So, and alcohol, one of the biggest things it does is messing up your brain cells. Same as to all the other drugs. And you want to go to the extent whereby it's not fun, like because you have a flavored weed, you think you're taking a special kind of drug. No, dude, you're still taking the same trash, which is being taken in the streets out there. And the repercussions you have in you, it might not affect you now, but it might affect you in future. And usually, people, there's this talk I was saying about people when people are drunk, they start telling people the truth. It's not the alcohol that is speaking the truth. It's just the alcohol that has given you the courage to speak the truth. So watch the people who you hang out with. If you feel like they're not the best people to be around, it's always good to have a plan B with friendship. Then again, the most important thing is to appreciate yourself and your self-company in terms of your solitude. If you sit in your house and you don't enjoy the company of your own yourself in your house,
you have a problem.
Exactly.
I think also something else that people don't consider is that in life, we're not all on the same path. Our journey is not the same. For me, it took a while for that to sink in, because even in friend groups, you may have a friend who's doing this and doing that and doing that, and then you find yourself sitting and thinking, like, why can't I do that? but in real sense, when you think about it, where your friend is going is not where you want to go. So you can't achieve the same things. You can't be.
When did that hit in? Like that realization?
On my birthday. In January when I was having a meltdown because I was turning the age that I am. And
it gets scary to start feeling alone, right? Because you realize like the friends you used to hang out with as a teenager, they have very different kind of goals and dreams. You want to be on media, they want to go to the farms.
Yeah.
These others want to travel abroad. These others want to go this. And you're like, you're stuck somewhere. And you're like, what happens next to me? Yeah? So, and at the teenage life, I think that's the best time for you to be able. And I wish back then I was able to realize that what happens at this age and be able to have a conversation with someone who can be able to guide you through what happens after the teenage life. And I would want to put it on even a very open platform for Nuru Vibe to be able to even accept and pick in anyone who has been able, who wants to transition to that. And I think it's an open door for anyone who would want to call in and ask a question and be able to have a conversation in regards to these specific issues and how they transition from this stage to the next stage. Because when it comes to teenage dating,
it's
you're not there. It's childish.
Yeah.
Because what happens in case one of the lady gets pregnant? So a baby gets another baby. As in, I don't even want to get to the depth of the frustrations your parents go through. And you find people who are in campus. People in campus are no longer going to study anymore, but to make babies. So I think it's purely for you to be able to be in a position to have someone to talk to. And and I'm saying this, if you don't have someone you can always talk to, share with, Nuru Vibe is always there for you. Young, vibrant people who will listen to you and guide you in the appropriate manner to be able to grow and transition to the next age group.
Yeah, and these are things that we've gone through, and it's a platform you can approach us with no judgment.
Exactly.
It's like we've been there. There's some things that, I went through that I wouldn't want other people to go through when I was younger. And I think younger people should really consider reaching out. Just to avoid some things.
One thing that is overlooked with the whole young people, teenage life, youth issues and all that is thing to do with depression. And I know I've been through depression several times. And how you get off it is, of course, for me it has been friends, talking to Jesus and praying and, of course, trying to occupy my mind with productive things. So depression is a killer, especially the young people. You hear people hanging themselves. And now that the KCP results are out, KCP will be out soon. At this time, that's when you probably need to talk to someone more. Because I will tell you, because I will tell you something, it's not very likely that 100% of you will pass and go to your dream jobs and all that.
Yeah.
Some of us fancy to be lawyers, doctors.
I actually almost did law.
Exactly, but we are okay where we are.
Yeah.
Because we realized as we got older, we realized there are more better other things we can do in life to contribute to the well-being of our lives and also growth of the world and the country. So focus on getting off that stage first. So don't give up. Getting whatever grades you get, that's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Trust you me, everyone has their own unique brains, and this world requires super brains that are not utilized. And please come out with your original, authentic brain and give the world something special.
Yeah.
That would be my advice to anyone.
For me, my advice is that grades are not everything. Yes, like do your best in school. Do the best that you can, but it's not everything. We have people who have done great things and they weren't the smartest in their class. Just find something you truly, truly love, find your passion and do it wholeheartedly. If your passion is in acting, try to pass messages through your acting.
Yes.
But don't neglect your books, though it's not something that should cause you to like harm yourself or harm other people or resent other people. It's like, as we said, everyone has a different path, and if for you, like your path isn't necessarily set in education, though you do need knowledge. Don't get me wrong. Like you do need to go to school. You do need knowledge, but it's not the only thing that can open doors for you.
So, I think out of all these, what we'll sum up with is the issue to do with the internet. The internet is a very important tool, and it's a very dangerous tool with the current with the current state we are in. And trust you me, everyone goes through cyberbullying, one way or the other. And don't expect yourself to be special in any way. So, but the best thing you can do is don't copy what you're seeing online as socialites, dress codes, whatever meaning. Just do you, be you. If you feel whatever outfit, but don't go naked. Whatever, if you feel like you want to be in such a vintage way or something else, just be a unique person. Because the thing is, we are seeing copycats all over, and someone does something about their dressing, someone shows off their private parts, and you all want to go online and take a picture. That's been silly. So just be you, stop. And the thing is, they will always speak. They will always try to pull you down. And if you see someone pulling you down, that means you're doing something special. And I always say, kama mti haina matunda, you will never see boys throwing stone at it. That's my cutting shot.
Yeah, for me, it's like, take your time. Don't rush stages in growing up. If you're in high school, do things that are appropriate for high school. If you're in campus, do things that are appropriate for campus. Don't rush growing up, because everyone wants to grow up, but once you're an adult, you look back and you're like, I should have taken my chance to try that out. I should have taken my chance to do this. So enjoy whatever stage of life you're at. There's some things that are better to explore at a certain age, and once you pass that age, yes, you can still do it, but it's a bit harder. So I just say, take your time to grow up, don't rush, and just understand everyone is on a different path. Thank you for watching, and please reach out to us on our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube on @NuruVibe, or text us or WhatsApp us on 0768 198 453.